Thank you, Mr. Bala, for that wonderful introduction. Can I have a slide deck, please? I wanted to do something on post my retirement. So I didn't want to start a startup. I didn't want to start any IT organizations. I want to have something without any dependency. So that is to become a solopreneur. So again, to choose my career, so I thought of choosing training, corporate training as my career, post-retirement career. Because teaching and training is in our blood. My mother, father, grandfathers, everyone is teacher. So even while I was working for Chennai Petroleum Corporation for 15 years, last 5 years I was in training center. So this is when I thought of taking one signature topic. So when you are a corporate trainer, you need to have a signature topic, right? And this is my 16th year in Toastmasters. So 5 years back, when I was in my 11th year in Toastmasters, I thought public speaking or communication should be the best topic to take it to corporate world. Because always, wherever you go, irrespective of the world, irrespective of the cadre, communication gap or the communication challenges are perennial, right? And always there is a demand. So the moment I went to a corporate organization, when I talked to the HR people immediately directed me to go and take communication programs with the associates or junior most level category. But my aspiration was to talk to leaders, because when I talk to leaders, the impact will be much more, and they in turn can go and talk to their people, and then the impact will be much more. So that is the reason the moment I got when someone called, the VP called from Emerging Leaders, immediately I accepted, because I always love to talk to leaders. Thank you, Emerging Leaders, for this wonderful opportunity. So today, I thought that this communication, so though I want to take communication to the leaders, but many of the leaders, they were not agreeing that they are looking for a course or a session on communication, because always they manage a team of 100 people, 200 people. Their customers are overseas customers, MNC's customers, and they are good enough in terms of fluency. So that is when I thought this should not be my topic. I need to think twice before moving on. So in that process, I started doing a little bit of deep research. So what else I can take it to the corporate organization, and I thought of doing analysis on the current status. So one of my main observation was the day in, day out, the leaders making presentations, and they come with the pie charts, bar charts, and talking numbers, KPIs, so all deliverables, productivity, profitability, all kind of things, and ultimately the audience, they don't get engaged. So invariably the meetings or presentations are boring. The second observation what I made was, today we are all living in a world with the smart devices, and these smart devices makes us not smart. So whenever you get a gap of 5 minutes, immediately we started taking our mobile phone and start checking the status. So whether someone has given a like or any interesting reels are coming on WhatsApp or Instagram kind of stuff. So this is applicable irrespective of the age group or cadre. So the moment the person on stage is unable to captivate the audience, they take out their smart devices. Then the third important aspect is, today we are to deal with the Gen Z workforce. So the Gen Z workforce, they are totally a different breed of people, right? So I hope many of the seniors as well as the Gen Z will agree with me. So they don't have any big commitment, and even to continue in a corporate organization, they don't have a dedication like the previous generation. So they say, I would like to take a break, I'll go on vacation, I'll do a globe-trotting tour, and then come back and take another profession. So that is the kind of attitude, and it is very difficult to get things done from them. So I'm not saying that they are unproductive, but we need to have a different kind of approach. So considering all that, I thought, so one common element that is prevalent in today's world is lack of engagement. So those days, so if you go and talk to any of your parents or the previous gen leaders, they will always talk about a leader who is very charismatic, who is always captivating and getting all the attention. But today we have a lot of senior people are there, vice presidents, GMs, but none of them are able to captivate the audience. So whenever they make a presentation, people are always listening for the sake of it, or always they are bound to attend such kind of meetings. They never get engaged. So now the important aspect is the very first second a leader or a corporate leader, whether he is making a presentation or whether he is talking to his team members. So multiple kind of events are happening. One is meeting with their own team members, meeting with the customers or different kind of stakeholders. So what is one thing important is grabbing the attention of the audience. The grabbing the attention of the audience is very, very important. I think as Toastmasters, all of us know. That is why we need to make the very powerful. Within 30 seconds, we are supposed to grab the attention of the audience. You would have heard it from many of the speech evaluators. What are the different techniques for grabbing the attention of the audience? Asking a question. Okay.
Different kind of a title or different kind of a subject.
Captivating titles.
Captivating.
Okay.
Voice modulation.
Okay. Do something dramatic with your voice modulation. Yes, sir.
Facts.
Humor. You can crack a joke as long as it is relevant to the subject, not for the sake of it. And asking question has also got a pros and cons. Many times, when you ask a questions, they will not give you the expected answer. So when you want them to say yes, they will say no. Or sometimes they will keep quiet and then stare at you. You have to be prepared. So out of all these techniques, one of the vital technique is the last one, telling a story. Telling a story is very, very powerful and engaging way, the best way to engage with the audience out of all this. Now let me quickly get into. Okay, now before getting into the subject in deep, let me ask you a question. Why storytelling? Storytelling has been scientifically proven that it is making some kind of changes in our brain. I think the very first speaker, Charu, mentioned about two chemicals. How many of you remember that?
Oxytocin.
Yeah. Scientifically, it is proven there are 4 different happy chemicals that are segregated in your brain that will make us happy. Dopamine, it creates the feel-good factor. Then serotonin, happiness. Endorphin, natural painkillers. Oxytocin, love and bonding. So scientifically, it has been proven. Then storytelling, many of us in corporate world, they think storytelling has become a buzzword. It is not so. Storytelling has been in our legacy. So even our forefathers, or even when you go back to millennia ago, when people are uncivilized as a caveman, at the end of the day, people sit across the bonfire and then they started sharing their own stories. How they hunted an animal, how they encountered the specific incident. So all such kind of storytelling was happening during the bonfire. And today there are proofs available there in the caves. So people have inscribed their stories. So whatever they experienced. Okay. Now let me quickly tell a story. Some of you would have heard it. If you have heard it, raise your hand. And so actually there was a boy, a small boy with a dark complexion. So a little short boy. He was having a little bit of complex. So one day when he heard the sound of a vendor in the street, he came out, and on the street he could see a balloon vendor. So he could see the balloon vendor carrying several balloons. And what do children do when they buy a balloon? They jump. Most of the time these kind of balloons, they are all filled with some gas, hydrogen or helium, and they hold it for some time, and after some time they leave it, and then they start watching it, how far it is going. So this guy came here and then started asking questions. Uncle, what is the cost of the balloon? So he said 10 rupees. Then he asked, so do you have a balloon with a black color? Yes, of course, I have a black color balloon. Then he was about to give the money, and while buying that balloon, he asked another important question. Uncle, will this black balloon also fly? Will this black balloon also fly? So immediately the balloon vendor said that yes, of course, it is not the color of the balloon that matters, it is what inside the balloon that matters. So this is a short motivation story. How many of you heard this earlier? What are the takeaways from this story? So this story has taken just 2 minutes. What are the takeaways?
The content matters more than
Content means what?
how you, I mean,
You may
What the
take
message
skills,
behind the story?
skills of a person.
The physical appearance of the person doesn't matter.
Okay.
However, the inherent ability.
Yeah. So maybe your technical skill or soft skill or attitude, all those things matter. So you don't have to judge a person by their appearance.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes, almost equivalent to that proverb. So this is a fantastic story, which is a very, very short story. The moment we hear such story, no, we get a wow feeling, and even some people get goosebumps, right? So, but these kind of stories keep coming in WhatsApp or different kind of social media. But ultimately, at the end of the day, in a corporate life, when your audience hears such kind of stories, wow, that's a fantastic story. But what is in it for me? What am I going to do with this story? Except when you are managing a team, you have to treat all of them on par. So apart from that, there is nothing to do with your corporate goals. The corporate goals are multiple goals are there. What is the first and primemost goal of a corporate organization? Profitability. Then productivity, integrity, honesty, team building. So how can I take the key message from this story and apply it to improve these kind of factors? That is when I thought, no, this kind of stories are totally different. Even while I was in corporate life, I attended a couple of workshops, and invariably the faculty come and tell this kind of story. But I always have this unanswered question. I never had the guts to ask them. So how is it relevant for my corporate way of life? But later I started doing a little bit of research, and I thought of coming out with a different kind of storytelling, which is called business storytelling. So let me move on to another story. So this has happened in a corporate organization. I think these brands, many of you are familiar, Dettol and Savlon. Have you heard about them? So what are they popular for?
Antiseptic.
So Dettol was the pioneer, and they had a huge market share. And they invariably every household they will have a bottle of Dettol, because children used to get injured, and the moment they get any bruise or wound, the parents used to apply Dettol. And what do the children do?
It stinks, so then.
Yeah, they will start crying, all that. So the inherent characteristics of Dettol is, one is it's a smell. Second one is it will be irritating. Third one, if you put it in water, it will become opaque or white color. It will become turbid. So these are the three important negative points of Dettol. Then that is when Savlon came into market, and Savlon thought, so all these pain points we should totally do away with in our product. And they came out with a new product, and they said that this product will not have such kind of pungent smell. It will not be, mainly it will not be irritating. So that is where then they targeted this product, saying that it heals without burning. So immediately people started buying Savlon, and slowly the market share of Dettol was taken over by this organization called Savlon, the owners of Savlon. So immediately a panic button was pressed, and then Dettol, the marketing guys as well as the top management, they were upset that their market share is drastically coming down, and they started doing brainstorming. So now these people have come out with a counter, and now they have to give another counter for this counter. So they started discussing different points. And any idea what counter strategy?
Green color Dettol.
Green color Dettol, okay.
Blue color, the color changes.
So I think you are referring to mouth freshener. I have not seen green color Dettol. I am not sure. To my knowledge, it is not.
Green color yellow.
Is it there?
Wash floors.
Okay. No, the main problem here, this competition is saying that it is not irritating, it is not burning, it heals without burning. So now you have to counter that. By changing the color, it is not going to be helpful.
They made it multi-purpose.
Changing the composition or
Change the composition, the formula itself, yes.
They said you could use it to mop the floors. It can be used as a multi-purpose disinfectant.
Okay. But the target is the people who get injured, and it has to work as an antiseptic. So they discussed several topics, but finally they have not made any investment on their formula. So only the marketing tagline they try to change. What they try to push on now is, it hurts when it works. So this is the actual sentiment of the parents, right? So when the children is crying, hey, keep crying for 5 minutes. It will be like that. That means it is killing all the bacteria. So the Dettol is working on you. So only if it is not working, you will not cry. So the moment children cry, then parents are happy that this is doing some reaction and it is killing all the bacteria. So that sentiment they have taken and then put it hurts when it works, right? So immediately they started getting the market share. So with a simple marketing strategy by changing the tagline. So this is another corporate story or business story. Business story is nothing but a case study. So it is not a, you don't have a villain or you don't have a, what is that, protagonist. It may not have big twists and turns, but it will be an interesting story. So what are the takeaways from this particular business story? Perception matters, okay.
Marketing has a huge impact on
Marketing
the
is important apart from the content or the product, okay.
Out of box thinking.
Out of box thinking,
Or continuously evolving.
evolving. Then again, you don't have to become panic when some competition is eating your market. So you can keep your cool and then you can come out with this. So this is a basic difference between, so this story I can tell my audience, it can be irrespective of the domain. So I can tell this story in an IT organization, I can tell it in manufacturing world. So how to come out with countermeasures when your competition is trying to grab your product or market share. So there are several takeaways which are universally applicable in the corporate world. So that is when I thought there is a huge difference between this motivation storytelling or personal storytelling and business storytelling. So let me quickly how business storytelling is different. So basically, this business storytelling need to be original and authentic. I cannot cook up a story, whereas here it can be fictional or semi-fictional. For example, this balloon story, I don't know whether it has really happened or it would have partially happened, and the person who saw that boy buying a portion of it would be realistic, and the remaining thing will be made up. So this has to be original and authentic, because in corporate world always, irrespective of the character, immediately people take, even when I tell a story, they will immediately check in their mobile phone whether this story is true or not. So your story should be so setup. Normally the other kind of stories they are told in family setups, gathering, informal gathering, whereas this is told in sales meets, team meetings, customer presentation, etc. Intent storytelling is primarily to entertain the audience. So that is the reason it has to be entertaining, motivating and inspiring, whereas here in the corporate world it should educate your audience or build brands or drive from corporate values. Corporate values I already mentioned, profitability, productivity. For each one of them we can have a story. Okay, I'll quickly move on. So where all this business storytelling can be applied, one is town hall meetings by the CXOs. CXOs normally they visit a office at 500 people, they will be sitting in their place and he will be addressing the entire gathering. At that time storytelling can be used. Team meeting by managers, customer meeting by sales, or induction training by HR. Okay, couple of things, do's and don'ts in business storytelling. There are, actually I have started, I came out with a book, Business Storytelling by Leaders 2 years back. Before that I started writing these status as articles in LinkedIn newsletter. So 26 different aspects I covered from A to Z. So starting from authenticity, brevity, and it goes up to zeal. So I don't have time to talk on everything. I'll just mention 3 of them. Number 1 is, as I mentioned, authenticity. Your story cannot be cooked up or it should not be semi-fictional or fictional. It should have. Second one is brevity. So brevity is very, very vital. So in a corporate ambience, a leader, the entire meeting itself will be 1 hour. And as a leader, I may get a chance to speak for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Within few minutes, I have to tell a story and engage the audience, and then I should move on with my intended message. So for example, this Dettol story, probably I would have taken 3 minutes. So within 3 minutes, if you are able to tell a story, then that's great. Then the last one is specificity, that I am very particular. So specificity means you cannot say one company, one friend, one organization somewhere in North India. No, you have to be very specific. It was in Jamnagar, Reliance, Mukesh Ambani did this, or Dhirubhai Ambani did this. So you have to name the person, name the place, year, as long as it is not confidential. So if it is confidential, probably you can sanitize. So that brings in authenticity. So these are some of the stuff you need to take care. Some of the don'ts. Never tell people that you are going to tell a story in a corporate world. It is almost like, in a humorous speech, I'm going to crack a joke and expecting the audience to laugh. Immediately, you tell it, let me see whether he can make me laugh. So that kind of resistance will always be there. So in a subtle manner, you have to tell a story. Then never share any forward stories because people would have already heard this kind of story. Probably you would have felt, no, this is a fantastic stories. I get goosebumps. Probably people would have heard it 10 times in different forums. And then never ramble or beat around. You have to make a short and sweet. Don't write stories when the situation is not conducive. When firefighting is happening, some customer escalation is happening, don't say, sir, I want to tell a story. No way. You will get all Dharmadi. So you have to see basically it is an art. You have to learn when to tell, how to tell, what to tell. So there are several occasions. So this slide was meant for a different audience. On different occasions, every occasion like National Vigilance Day, National Safety Day, organization, the top management, someone will give a story, and again as a project program leader, you have to tell a story, give a message to your team members. So for each occasion, you can have a story. How can we do that? By having a story file. The story file is nothing but either you can manually take it out book and then start writing all your stories or an Excel sheet. I have come out with a template. I have listed down all the stories. So I asked Jyoti to share this PDF. So go through that PDF. So I have already compiled 62 corporate stories. So you can scan that. There is a QR code there. So scan that, and then you have access to 62 different stories. But don't limit with by going through the stories. You start creating your own stories. So every story should have a title. Every story should have specific elements like who was the person, which year, which organization, and finally it should boil down to the key values. So for example, this first story called the TTK Prestige Group. So this story, shall I take 5 more minutes? Do we have time? So a long time back actually, TT Krishnamachari was the founder of TTK Prestige Group. All of you are aware there is a road called KTK Road in Arabra. So his son TT Jagannathan became he is an IITian, and then he took charge of this organization. And at that time they were only supplying cookers only in Tamil Nadu and this region, because there was a shortage for aluminum. So the moment the government lifted the ban on the import, then they started manufacturing pan across the country. They started selling cookers all over India, and their product is branded as Prestige. And one point of time, the sales came down heavily in the Uttar Pradesh and that kind of region. Sales came heavily down. Then immediately he went there. He went and interacted with the people and the supervisors, dealers. They took them to a showroom where large number of cookers, exploded cookers were there, kept in a garage. They said that all these cookers are exploded, and that is why we are not selling it. Our sales has come down. So he was totally taken aback, because quality check was strictly taken care like TVS for the TTK group. So what they found was the cooker has got an element called safety wall. Are you aware? Not the heavy, not the weight wall. There is another wall called safety wall, which will get melted when the pressure goes beyond, the temperature goes beyond the threshold limit. So actually, whenever the safety wall pops, they have to replace that, which will cost 10 rupees or 25 rupees. But there was spurious spare parts manufactured in this region, and that was not made with this specific alloy. And because of that region, the cooker started exploding. And he was thanking God for getting to know the insight. So he was able to find out the truth. And then immediately he asked the engineering charge to come out with alternative work. So do some modification so that even when I put a spurious part, the cooker should not get exploded. But engineering charge was saying that this product, the patent has come from our British company. So if this is done, they could have done this. So we don't have control on that. He said no, we have, as per agreement, we can do modification. But the engineering in charge was not willing to take care of any further modification. Then Mr. Jagannathan went to the lab and spent almost 2 months in the lab. He himself is an engineer, started doing all kind of modifications, and then tried different methods. Finally came up with a small invention or innovation which is called gasket relief system. How many of you are aware of it? Gasket relief system. So in your safety cooker, today every cooker has got that facility. On the lid there will be a small slot will be there. The moment pressure exceeds The first mechanism, the weight valve should get lifted. The weight valve is not lifted, the safety valve should pop up. The safety valve, if it is not popping up, then this gasket will release the pressure, and then through the small hole, the steam will get released. This is called gasket release system. And immediately they started applying it, and they started having clinics. So way back in 90s, even in Chennai, a lot of clinics were there. So they made a huge propaganda saying that you can bring your old cooker and get it exchanged with the new cooker. Or some people, they were having sentiment not to give the cooker, they serviced and then gave it back. And this gasket release system, he has not patented. Mr. Jagannathan has not patented for some specific reason. Any guess why he has not patented? Why competition should use this?
Safety. People safe.
Okay.
Reducing its own curve.
Yeah. So one is towards safety. He was giving utmost importance towards the safety of the customer. Thing is, cooker was Prestige was so popular. So those times competition cookers were also there, but this was having the maximum market share. So the moment you say cooker, it means Prestige. For example, those days there was a mixie called Sumit. Sumit means mixie, mixie means Sumit. Right? Scooter means Vespa, Vespa means scooter. That's all. Limited brands were there. Because at that time, Jagannathan felt even if a competition cooker, Hawkins, if it is exploding, then people will say that Prestige cooker has busted or exploded. So he does not want his brand name to get affected. So he has not patented, and immediately, shamelessly, all other competition people copied that specific feature. So what are the takeaways from this story? The corporate values, starting from innovation, problem solving, there are several things.
Problem solving.
Problem solving.
Innovation.
So first thing, you have to get into the field. So you cannot sit in corporate office headquarters and then trying to get analyze the data points from different. You have to get into the field to know the real truth as a leader. Then you should know, put pressure on your team to come out with innovation. If someone is not cooperating, you should have the perseverance to do it on your own.
Crisis management.
Crisis management. So it cut across so many corporate values. So this story can be told whenever on a National Safety Day, or when you want to have it on innovation, you are having a small group of people who are trying to come up with innovation, then you can tell this story. So every story has got a multiple things. So this is how you need to have a metrics. So go through that attachment which is shared in our WhatsApp, and I'll conclude with the last one slide. So this is my last slide. So how many of you know this person? Who is he? L&T chairman. So L&T is a very big Indian conglomerate which is having multiple divisions: design, manufacturing, and then construction, as well IT. So at one point of time, so the L&T Infotech, he was taking care of L&T Infotech. The L&T Infotech sales guy has got an appointment in US with a US based company CEO, and he asked Mr. AM not to fly down, so to do the proposal defense. So that point of time, they have within 1 hour they have to talk about their group company and then specific elements of the proposal defense and win the contract. So when they went there, so Mr. Nayak as well as his, this person, the salesperson went there. They were waiting there. The CEO entered the hall and said, "Guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I have only 10 minutes to talk to you because of my other constraints. I had to cut short my meeting, just 10 minutes." So both of them were really upset because they had prepared material for 45 minutes and 15 minutes for Q&A. So all of a sudden 10 minutes. So at that time, without losing his temper, without losing his nerve, so Mr. Nayak asked this person, "So CEO, have you ever seen this movie called The Bridge on the River Kwai?" "Yes, of course. This is a popular Hollywood movie." "Then do you remember the climax scene? Has anyone seen this movie or heard about this?" So actually, probably boomer uncles and the previous generation, they can recollect it. So he asked, "So do you recollect the climax scene?" "Yes, of course. The climax scene is very, very important. That is when two trains come and make an head-on collision on the bridge." So actually, the storyline was happening in Thailand, but actual shooting was happening in Colombo. So at that time, L&T was involved in constructing the bridge, and when they were about to take the shooting, the bridge didn't collapse. Then they had to loosen all the nuts and bolts. Then again didn't collapse. After third, then they have to put some detonators. Then finally in the fourth attempt only the actual shot was taken. So he told the story with the pride. Of course, the film crew would be much upset because they have to take it. So he said that is how our quality of our group. So that is the kind of quality we put in whatever our group companies. So finally the CEO talked to him, and he spent 90 minutes with that. So this is a clean, proven proof how business stories can engage with the audience. So with that I stop here. I think I have taken 10 minutes more than equal. If you have any questions, you can take one or two things to answer the questions. I have brought some copies of my book. So if you want, you can take it at the end of the meeting. Yes, Bala.
One question. In your A to Z PPT, you mentioned about 5 senses.
Yes.
What does that relate to? I mean,
So 5 senses, so audio, video.
how do you relate that to the? I mean, are you saying you should be a willing listener or?
No, when you are telling a specific story, for example, I worked in the Chennai Petroleum Corporation. So actually, I mentioned this as a one anecdote. So the moment the very first day when I went to the Manali region, I could smell that sulfur dioxide, H2S. My God, how can I take up a job here? So I narrate about all the smelling aspect and the sound aspect of it. So to make it more interesting, the moment you start using all the 5 senses in your speech, this is applicable for even our own Toastmaster speeches. So when you start narrating about all these 5 senses, when I went to Ooty, so that pleasant weather, my God, that eucalyptus smell. So at that time, we just parked our car and there was a guy who was selling ginger chai. That was the aroma of ginger chai was inviting. So the moment you start using 5 senses, the audience are transported to your story. So and at the end, whatever you say, they are going to listen to you. So you can make actually a persuasive speech. So that is the power of 5 senses. And every story you don't have to use 5 senses, not compulsory. Whatever is relevant, you can use it. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to work with you.